Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Collegiate StarCraft League. I am Tempo, joined by Joe, and we are going to be going into the fourth game of the round of 16. Joe, I think you're mute. Yeah, you're right.
I am not muted. I am unmuted now. How are you doing tonight, Kwame?
Yeah, I'm doing great over here, man. Just getting ready to cast some SC2, baby, some CSL. As we do have UC Berkeley going up against, I believe it is Georgia Tech. So.
Yeah, both of these guys doing well in here. I think Georgia Tech's ace has kind of in theory leading them through. UC Berkeley has Silky. So These are some high-end players, high-caliber players, the kind you like to see get into the playoffs here in the CSL.
Oh, definitely. It always seems like every one of these teams are going to have at least one of those star players that, we all keep our eyes on. And it's cool. One of them here, Protoss Theory, we've definitely had our fair share of games with him. And then Silky as well, which is a Zerg player. So I'm pretty excited. But you know what? I don't know if they're... I think... we're gonna it's gonna be like our first game is actually gonna be a mirror match. It's gonna be a PvP, so we'll have that. And then for those that are not familiar with the CSL, we do have a 2v2, and then there'll be another 1v1, and then also an ace match as well, if it goes to that. So a little bit different around here, keeping things spiced up, and it's pretty nice, as we don't get to see that much 2v2 in other leagues.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to see. Here it's going to be on Catalyst, and it's a PvP like you were mentioning. And I'm excited to see how these things shake out. One of our players, I think we've actually seen him represented a lot more in the 2v2s, but they're busting him out in the opening matches today. And, well, we're not spawning on him first, because in the top left-hand corner, it is our red Protoss player, Intuition.
Daily Life Esports. And in the bottom right-hand corner, it is our blue Protoss player representing Georgia Tech, Ro16 Cube. How do you say it?
I think it's G-Sock.
G-Sock. Like G-Shock. You remember those anti-G-Shock Discmans? Yeah.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah. Like, so you could run with them and then the CD wouldn't skip?
Yep. Bringing it back.
Only 90s kids will remember.
Indeed. Well, we are going to have our first match being a mirror. So here we go on Catalyst. I think this is probably the most played map. This and like Blackpink, you almost always see it come up in literally every single series, not even just in CSL. But in the professional matches as well, and a lot of tournaments where it's going to be a best of 3 and you get your other vetoes, this one tends to make it into literally every best of 3.
Well, in the CSL map, I think it usually...
Oh, I think it goes in order, right?
Yeah, so...
wow,
we use
what a
the Pro League
coincidence.
style. We use the Pro League style, which is a lot of fun. The maps are... The teams blind pick their players. And it leads to some absolute wackiness when guys are trying to out mind game each other. They're trying to get their ace up against a scrub, and sometimes you'll end up with the results you want, and sometimes you end up with some really weird matchups. This one looks pretty balanced as we're getting into it, though.
Yeah, just by looking at that match starting screen, it did look like they were both in Master at least. So I didn't get to catch what number it was, or if it was Master 1 or 2 or 3, but yeah, I think this should be a pretty good one.
I think we've seen Intuition historically be a stronger player than G-Sock Cube, but okay. I mean, I think the guys are within striking of each other, Here in the CSL, especially when you have the benefit of having a team to help you kind of workshop strategies and theory craft one-off builds to just try to kill your opponent, you can never really count anyone off. Intuition being cheeky.
Yeah, look at G-Sock in the third base location, putting down a pylon, while Intuition is going out there with the sentry. It looks like he's saving up for an expansion. Now, what is going to go over by this pylon here? He actually moved the probe away from it, so it seems like it's just going to be a warp-in point. We'll see if he adds any more gateways to this, because I assume he's going to use that pylon. You don't just put that there to I mean, maybe you do. Maybe he wants to see some kind of a Warp Prism or Oracle or...
Yeah, I mean, maybe even it's just like an option.
Yeah.
Less supply just because it's over there.
And you know what? It could also throw Intuition off. If he were using his Intuition and he saw that there was one less pylon in the base, he'd start freaking out. But we see 2 extra gateways.
4 gates, yeah, on 1 base here. I think we're gonna see some slow warp-ins up here.
Oh man, yeah, I've actually seen the 4-gate come back, and Intuition gonna see that there's no Nexus here, and he sees 2 Stalkers leave, but he did not lose the probe. So if he was paying attention, he would have saw those 2 Stalkers leave. He has a shield battery at the bottom of the ramp already. So I think this is one of the best ways to at least defend. He's going to have the shield battery. Sentry's going to have pretty good energy, and he kept his Phoenix at home. But here come the Stalkers.
Yeah, the Phoenix actually moves out, and it's going to be a total, which is just so many Stalkers here, at least for the moment. And that shield battery can't heal itself, obviously. Once he starts fighting the Stalkers, though, that's where the real advantage from that shield battery helping to anchor the defense. The Phoenix picks up one of the Stalkers. He does clip off one at the back, and now that first shield battery might be easy pickings along with the natural base here.
Yeah, this is not looking like there's going to be a solid defense here from Intuition. And he might be doing the best thing here just by sacrificing the base. He does have a 3-probe advantage, but remember, he invested into that Nexus now. Since he went Stargate, it kind of sucks for him that he went for the Phoenix first, because he could have been able to get some damage done on the other side of the map with an Oracle, because there were no Stalkers that were there. And then, you know, this reinforcement wouldn't be that potent. But now it's going to be the defense at the top of the ramp. 2 of the gateways are going to get powered down. And that's a lot of Stalkers, Joe. Wow.
Yeah, there is a Void Ray coming out from the...
Oh, that could be
kind of the immortal of the sky here when you're dealing with Stalkers and you don't have a Robo. Zone GSOC Cube is Intuition. GSOC Cube wants to make this happen. He's not expanding, but it looks like there's a pylon in his own base. Oh, Tempo, this could get really weird really quick.
Oh, he's warping in an Adept, and the second one's going to be there, and there's nothing there. And now what I was saying about the Oracle is going to come true, but in the form of an Adept instead, or 2 Adepts. And he just has to hold his ramp. He only has 1 sentry, though. 2 shield batteries, a Void Ray. That would be sure...
There's nothing for high ground vision, though. You can't snipe the sentry. Okay, he
might hallucinate something, but I think... I don't know.
You need to be able to see it there. You have to snipe. You have to snipe the... You have to kill him now. I mean, look how many probes have gone down.
Yep, he's losing a lot here. And they had to go all the way down into the natural base. Dang, these 2 Adepts. That is not a lot of investment right there. And it's such a good way to kind of get yourself back into the game, because that was a really big loss, losing a Nexus and a shield battery as well as the pylon. But he survives, and that's the most important part. He has a tech advantage here, and he should be able to take his Nexus now as the units are leaving, taking their anger out on those debris.
Yeah, and now GSOC Cube going not a lot of stock, and I almost wish he would have kept kind of, if not pressing the attack, at least keeping the pressure up, right? He could have kind of warped in a couple units at home defensively, cleaned up the pylons. He really needs to not die to more Adepts here.
This is so funny. He doesn't even know that the pylon's inside of the main. He's like, where are these Adepts coming from? And now all of the probes are going to go all the way to the natural, but at least there's a Nexus here in the natural to mine at. So it's only going to be the mining time from the transferring one way, not a round trip.
He has to realize it, right? He has to realize it.
Please, GSOC. He's like, these Adepts.
Okay, yeah, he's...
Are they warping in for my pylons? Like, maybe he thinks they're just, you know, they're all connected.
When the hacks are real.
Okay, he figures it out. So that's going to go down. But despite all the madness, Joe, 25 probes to 19 with that second Nexus about a quarter of the way done. So...
yeah, I think GSOC Cube might... No, he can't pressure this anymore.
No, I don't believe so. I think that with the 2 Void Ray... oh, 3 Void Rays here, and another shield battery, this is going to be a pretty secure natural base. And GSOC Cube is going to have to figure out what he wants to do for the mid to late game. And it looks like it is going to be a Robo. So that's an interesting choice. Despite the Stargate opener, perhaps he feels like Intuition has nowhere to go but ground after the Stargate. But there's still three Void Rays in the sky, man.
Right, there's 3 Void Rays in the sky, but the Stalker count is pretty high.
Right.
Portals and then get Blink and try to blink under the Void Rays and just take them out. Because Void Rays are Stalkers until the Stalkers are under the Void Rays. It's kind of that weird tit for tat interaction.
Yeah, and remember that the Void Rays get that speed reduction when they activate the prismatic alignment, right? So, yeah, that's definitely something you have to take into consideration. And getting Blink would allow you to at least disengage. So we'll see if he goes into charge or if he's going to just try to make use of the Stalkers that he has here by getting Blink. So if he goes Blink, then I would assume that he could follow it up with, like, Disruptors as well. But I don't know. I wonder if he's just going to go into charge a lot Archon, like... with that Templar Archives coming down.
Yeah, well, it looks like GSOC Cube continuing ply blocked right now.
Oh,
did he lose a pylon somehow? Because he's not like at 0 the exact amount. He's like 4 supply over.
I know that there were 2 pylons. Yeah, there were 2 proxy pylons that were right to the south of Intuition's army, but the original OG pylon on the 3rd base is still alive, so he's gonna hold it down.
You know what I'd love to see, and I say this.
What?
Just like 7 Dark Templar. You win the game.
If he just went in with a bunch of DTs.
There's not a single piece of detection on the map here, and he's got that.
Oh,
but
my
no,
gosh,
in all seriousness, Intuition's done a terrific job of constantly scouting with these hallucinated phoenixes, just making sure he gets all the info he can. He does see that Archon on the ground here, and he's probably got a pretty good idea of what's coming up.
Yeah, I would say so. Getting that scouting information, as you said. I find it funny that he took this bottom 3rd base, though, instead of the other one. So, that pylon, guess what? Another warping gonna be, Actually, it looks like GSOC's Cube is going to try to do a little bit of sneaking in on his own. But I think the Zealot is mainly just to either poke in for when Intuition moves out, or just to scout the front. Even though it's still 100. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's the Zealot that thinks he's a Zergling. He's like, I'm just going to hold position here and block your base.
I start with Z too, like,
I cost 100 minerals instead of 25.
You know? Not quite as cost efficient or as quick. Like, sometimes you can poke at the front with the Ling and then get it out of there. Zealot, I don't think he's going to get out of there, even if he does have charge, but it's not even completed yet.
You can't charge backwards.
If you just had, like, roller skates and just, turn around.
Can you, like, charge your own buildings as, like, a poor man's Link for your Zealots?
I bet you could. I know that, like, you can activate the charge like manually, so yeah, I would assume that you could. I don't see
nice. Why don't we ever see that?
Don't take my word for it. No, don't take my word for it, but I'm just saying, like, more power to the Zealot. You can charge whatever you want, son.
I hear that. Well, it looks like getting a bigger tech advantage would really kick in the next fight. Just because, if you look at GSOC Cube's army, so much of it is vulnerable to those Void Rays, or like the Archons are kind of a weird spot where they can fight well against him, but like good luck ever getting underneath them when there's like 6 Immortals in the army of Intuition here.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot here, right? And there's still so many Stalkers in the army of GSOC Cube. I think taking that 3rd base kind of exposes him a bit more, though, don't you think, to that charge lot attack if he were to go for it? He does have charge, he just doesn't have a huge Zealot count. So taking that 3rd base is pretty big. Surprisingly, right? Like, with the Stalker count of GSOC Cube, you'd almost think that he would just want to make use of them. But, nope. I understand it, because you usually don't want to make too many Stalkers into the late game, unless you are using it as your main army with, like, Disruptors. But even with the buff back, I don't think we've been seeing them as like super duper standard. We have some certain North American players that just can't let go, but
GSOC Cube actually getting a nice picking up a couple with it. This one shield battery is trying its best to help the mineral line hold on, but I think he picked off 3 probes there, which is pretty nice for just a single adept. It wasn't like a dual adept run by or anything crazy like that.
Oh, wow. That's not bad at all. And I'm looking at the probe count now, and it's kind of been like this for a while with GSOC being up by about 9 to 10 probes at any given time. So I was a bit surprised by that because Intuition was the one that had that advantage in the earlier game after all the exchanges, right? It's like he just stopped making probes, and you would think that he was going to go for like some big 2-base all-in, but he ends up taking the 3rd base, and he plans to go into a macro game here. He's just kind of short in the probe department, so I wonder if that was a bit of a misstep there, or he just was afraid of an all-in.
He felt like he needed to take his 3rd, but he spending his money pretty well, but he also made like 8 immortals. And,
yeah, right.
I think he maybe felt like with the stalker count of his opponent, he needed those immortals to just make sure he didn't die to anything. And maybe he's thinking, you know what, the longer this game goes on, the more fights there are, I think I can get the edge eventually. And we're about to find out because GSOC pushing up here, trying to make something happen. The Zealots do get on top of the stalkers, but both players going to pull back, neither one feeling comfortable forcing the engagement yet.
Yeah, they got to get on out of there. They do not have Blink either, so he can't go too deep. There are sentries there, so he could get force fielded. But I believe that GSOC is in a better spot, and he must realize that now. Although I don't believe he was able to get... No, he was able to check it. No, I guess he killed the pylon. Has he been able to check the probe line at the 3rd? That would be a huge tell that, oh, wow, okay, I guess I can chill. There's no reason for me to attack unless he makes some really big mistake in positioning.
Now it does look like GSOC going for a pretty big depth warping here. The Zealots are going to come out. He is going to get away with that.
Not bad.
Couple of probes. And now Intuition knows that warp prism has the potential to just be really annoying.
That's going to be so annoying, but if he uses the Void Rays at least, he might be able to chase it down, but it's not like it's a Phoenix. You can't just chase it down as easily as you would like. But hot diggity doobie damn, we got a triple Stargate transition. And remember, that is... No, he did not start out with the Stargate. I thought he did. So it is going to be triple Stargate. What do you do out of this? Do you think he's actually going to go into carrier or...
Oh, it has to be carriers, right?
Okay, I was going to say, because we had Pili Pili do stuff like where he would make a bunch of Void Rays, and I mean, he would proxy him. So...
Yeah, I mean, Void Rays could also be... These guys have kind of... Like,
the anti-air.
Void Rays beat Immortals last time I checked, unless the last patch was super weak. Yeah, it is going to be Void Rays.
Well, I don't know, like, the guns on the Immortals with these skins are pretty big, you know, I think we might be able to. Like, we got Deets, baby! Asking you shall receive, Joe. As the DTs are going to be going not only into the natural, but into the main as well, but there is a cannon inside of the main, but not in the natural. And this is exactly what Intuition needed. He was so behind in the probe department and didn't have the 4th base. And now look at all of the damage that he's doing here. And he's forcing the army to just move back and forth, and there's no detection here.
It's all right, like, yeah. Is there even like an observer out on the map? There's one...
Yeah, I was lagging behind. I was like,
Yeah, he manages to clean up that DT, and first...
Wow. Look at how many workers...
Following it up, it's going to be carriers. Yeah,
I mean, time.
Workers are cool, man. But
when you're going carrier.
Workers when you have carriers?
Well, you need to fund them, you know what I'm saying? They're definitely not cheap units, and then they also cause you to pay interest as well on that loan you took out to at least afford them, so... I think...
Well, the interesting thing about this is max out, what, 4 carriers?
Oh, yeah, he's not even going to be able to make too many of them. Yeah,
well, he trades out, like, his garbage units, and he might be able to do a lot of damage in this attack, because there's nothing really in the Army of Intuition other than the Void Rays that can deal with carrier. Oh, no, that Archon count is super high.
They have +3. So
that's so many Archons.
That is a lot. How many in total? 12 Archons right now.
12 Archons. There's
12
9
Archons.
There's 9 for GSOC, though, but the upgrades just about equal. Actually, having those shields, this is kind of a funky...
Yeah. It's kind of cool, though, when you get the shield, because you're able to not only benefit your ground army, but that carrier shield, it also helps that, just in case you didn't know, guys. And that is the transition. Even a mothership coming out. +2 is going to be on the way as well. I'm loving that G-Shock Cube is being so aggressive with his upgrades. He's chrono boosting both the Forge and the Cybernetics core, or he was. We'll see if he continues to do that. But a bit of a slip up here.
Yeah, this army, the one thing.
Wow.
Recall, and he is chasing this. The first Zealots do start getting on top of it. Do you think he's comfortable engaging with the carrier count where it's at right?
Does he know about the carriers is the question. Oh, I think he knows now. And let's see how the Archons deal with the Interceptors. I don't think there are enough. I don't think there's enough carriers here. Did you see how quickly they killed the Interceptors? But it looks like he gets on out of there as the rest of the ground army was able to deal.
Yeah, G-Shock Cube.
Oh, God. This is a very ambitious base, Joe.
Yeah, that's ambitious as a kind of... Generally, you want to expand away from...
Yeah, unless he was that confident.
Gets canceled really quickly, and G-Shock Cube is going to take another fight here. His Interceptors have been replenished, and that's a lot of DPS. The Archon's up at the front here for G-Shock Cube. It looks like the army of Intu melting beneath this, and there is no AA left, Tempo.
Nope, there's not enough anti-air to deal with these carriers or the Void Rays. Don't forget about them. And that is going to be it. G-Shock Cube.
Putting a
very
game
hectic
forward for Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech, let's go. That was a very, very hectic PvP to start things off. And yeah, G-Shock Cube put the aggression on in the beginning. It didn't look like it was going to break his opponent there, Intuition. And then all of a sudden, he loses a ton of probes inside of his main and natural. Brings it back by hitting it, I guess just being better economically, right? Like,
yeah, it almost felt like things got...
Like, I'll cut out, my bad. Yeah.
Oh, am I okay?
Can you hear you now? Yeah. I didn't hear your last thought, though.
Oh, I was just saying, it felt like almost G-Shock Cube. We got into the weird jungle was that game.
Oh, like just when you... trying to think of like...
Like
just
you ever see like, I don't know, one of the movies where they're like chasing...
Shoot, it keeps cutting out.
It's like in the forest.
I think it's that net neutrality thing, man. They're trying to make us pay for content for your opinion and insight on the game, you know?
Okay, I think I might have fixed it. Am I okay? Testing.
Yep. All
okay,
right.
So why don't we go to a quick break and we'll be right back with...
Indeed. All right. Georgia Tech going up by 1. We'll be right back with game number 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Collegiate StarCraft 2 League. We are jumping into game number 2 between Georgia Tech and UC Berkeley. I'm Temple, joined by Joe, and we are going to be going into another mirror match in case you guys just love looking at the mirror, yo. It's going to be another one coming through.
Yeah, this one is going to be a fun game here. We've actually got one of the aces coming up, Storm Silky. One of those just really top-notch North American players. You see him in WCS Challenger. You see him out at the LANs, DreamHacks, all of those. And I think we're getting into our game here. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner is our purple Zerg player, Klumarant.
And in the top right-hand corner, his opponent, it is the red Zerg player, Silky.
Silky is the favored player, I think it's fair to say. I mean, we did see Klumarant is in Masters, so, you can never completely count someone out. But it's going to be a long mountain to climb. Silky's been kind of like a top tier North American player since like the release of the game. It almost feels like
he's been playing this game forever, yo. Like, I've seen him since the beginning of time. Silky, he's kind of gone in and out as far as like his presence, I would say, but he's always been on the ladder at least when it comes down to it. So
yeah, always doing like kind of a round of 32, maybe an occasional round of 16 player. Always just like a really strong pickup. If you want to do well in Clan Wars, he's your guy. And he just seems to play like a big macro drone heavy style. I mean, this is a ZVZ, so I'm sure as I say that, he's going to bust out 24 lings or something.
Immediately. That's usually what happens. Yeah, the Cast of Curse is real. So the map is Eastwatch. So in a matchup like ZVZ, say it worked to be Catalyst, I wouldn't have been surprised if we saw one of them go for an earlier pool. But when it's Eastwatch, it's a little bit more difficult to let those reinforcing lings close out the game for you. So maybe they chose not to go for any kind of cheese here. Of course, Plumerant, you're saying, was not the favorite player, but is feeling a little bit confident enough to at least go for that hatch first. We'll see if he goes for that earlier third base and whether it is going to be used for lings or if he is going to, play a little bit more defensive, try to defend and deal with whatever Silky's going to be throwing at him, or if it's going to be the other way around.
Yeah, so Silky does have those first couple lings out, probably just going out for the scout here. And it makes a lot of sense. ZVZ is such a volatile matchup. I mean, Fear Dragon and I cast a game where just the other day a Diamond player almost beat a GM player with just a really clever ling all-in cheese. And that's how the game works, man.
It's insane, yeah, how it can change so drastically and so quickly in the blink of an eye. But here we go with a scout, very important scout here from Silky. Seeing exactly what his opponent is up to. He's going to use his Overlord on the left side to most likely check for the third, or maybe he's just seeing if the drone is going to move out. So
yeah, actually, super important that he's scouting because tempo, there's no speed and he's going straight to layer. So yeah. I think we're going to see a really, really fast +1 roach speed attack here.
Yeah, it could be a +1 roach speed attack into burrow roaches if he wants to afterwards. I know that Ragnarok does this quite a bit. Burrow roaches can be so annoying to deal with if he does decide to go down that route. But this is a very powerful attack, I would say, here as he goes and he just completely skips speed and boom! On a big map like Eastwatch, what better way to get across the map than the Nidus network? Right in the map.
Oh, yeah. And that's going to be so powerful. I mean, he can, even with the Nidus network, he can skip roach speed here and just use that to get a couple of extra roaches out.
This is such a fast Nidus, probably one of the fastest Niduses that you can get.
Yeah, like especially if you want to have units with it.
Yeah, like you can get a Nidus network and make a Nidus swarm, but not a lot's going to come out of it if you don't have anything mining here. So stopping at 31 drones he is, and this is not going to be scouted inside of the main base of Plumerant. He has no idea about this, and He's going for Spire. Oh my God. Nope.
He could
No.
just die to this. Here comes the
That's the most
Nidus.
terrifying screech.
3 queens pop out. This is not even a lot of roaches, but there's just nothing to deal with this. And this could just be the death of Plumerant here as Silky gets on top of all of these drones. Not a single military unit. Look, he's just running.
Wow. I mean, he's just trying to buy time for the Spire. But even if he buys the time, what is he going to make? He's going to make, what, 3 mutas? He can only make 2 at the time being. So with 4 queens here, I don't think it's going to matter. I think this is just a build order counter as Silky going for the fastest Nidus possible, which is important because if he did wait a little bit longer, oh, I love this, being able to go between the main and this gold base. But what I was saying is that if he were to wait, you know, and try to get the speed, try to get the third, get the +1, I think the mutas might have been a very, very solid option. But rush up to Nidus like this, my friend, you're just in a world of hurt. Plumerant, he's not mining at all. And the Spire's going to go down. Like I said, 3 mutas.
Yeah, you're not going to clean it up. I think you're like, I made the mutas, I'll see what happens. But this is not going to end well for Plumerant. Silky is everywhere. He's got 3 queens, and look at how much transfuse energy they have as well. They can fight 3 mutas without worry, and that's just going to be the game here as these mutas pop and basically immediately die to the queens.
Yeah, this is so sick that he has the Nidus on the main and the gold base. I really like that. Even though all the drones are moving over to that other third base, do you know how much mining time he lost? I don't, because there's no mining time meter or something like that, but I'm going to tell you that it was a lot. You know, Silky was mining this whole time. Jeez.
Yeah, Silky, that was just a steamroller. Maybe, I mean, this is the CSL, right? Maybe he's got homework.
Oh, yeah. You gotta bust out those builds, though, right? It's so sick that he just... it worked out for him, basically. That couldn't have gone better for him at all.
Yeah, that is going to tie the series up. It's going to be 1-1 between UC Berkeley here and Georgia Tech. And, I mean, it's still anyone's game at this point as we prepare to go into our 2v2 coming up.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That means we are going to go into the ace match no matter what, I believe. So whoever wins this 2v2 is going to be able to have that advantage going into that. And we'll see how it all shapes up. So when we come back, we will have that 2v2 for game number 3 in the CSL playoffs.
Ladies and gentlemen.
The one time I didn't say ladies and gentlemen, I was trying to switch it up too. Get him, Joe. Get him.
Well, hello and welcome back to our 2v2 match here in the CSL. The series is all tied up between Georgia Tech and UC Berkeley. And we're getting ready to hop into Shrines of Liswell, the world's smallest 2v2 map. And I love watching games on this map just because they tend to be absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, and when there are 3 Protoss in a match as well, make it even more crazy. Just look at this map, guys. I mean, take a look at it. I don't even think Zonaga Caverns is as small as this map.
Spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner is our red Protoss player for Georgia Tech. It is GSOC Cube and his teammate, Pluto.
And in the top, in the right position, but here at the top first, it is going to be representing University of California, Berkeley, Gix. Maybe Gix, but in the right, it is the blue Protoss, Intuition.
Kwame, I'm so glad that this is Shrines of Liswell because I'm playing on a literal potato right now, and I don't know what would happen if we had 4 maxed out armies.
Oh, you saying you don't think there's going to be like a long game on this map? What are you trying to say, Joe?
No, Shrines of Liswell tends to be a bit rushy here. I mean, the distance between the base and your enemy's base is like about as long as the distance between your own base and your teammate's base. So it's super easy to just get across the map, isolate one player, beat him down into submission, and then walk across and just do that to his teammate.
It's so funny. Some of the games, or at least the game that I was able to catch, where we were casting with the Reaper and the shield battery that got taken out. It was literally like 4 players going for cheese builds, and then it ended up being hilarious.
There's
But here we go.
So many probes out on the map right now. I don't know what's happening.
It's kind of disturbing, yeah?
Right, as a Zerg player, I have nightmares. 2 proxy pylons coming down right near my base. That's going to allow the warp in of so many, I'm going to guess, stalkers, since we have a Terran and a Protoss here.
Yeah, because if he proxies a Stargate or something, I'd be like, why not just put it in your base? It's literally like 5 feet away. And he's going to go for it. Double Stargate proxy.
Okay, that has to be Void Rays, right? If you're going to make oracles, you don't actually have to make them there. Like, maybe the first one... Maybe the first one is an oracle just to try to do some damage and be able to like dart in and get the high ground vision. But I gotta think, if you're building the Stargate here, you're doing it so you can have Void Rays and just have them be there when they pop out.
Or maybe the bases are just so small that they can't actually fit the Stargate in. But no, if you look at the bases, they're actually not that bad, right? So this is funny. I wouldn't be surprised if they put down shield batteries with it too. But there are no buildings on the edges of these bases right now for the Terran here, at least for Gix. Intuition, though, is going to definitely get a ring from his boy. Like, yo, dude, you got to come help me out soon because they're going to be bullying him pretty much this whole time.
Yeah, there's the Void Rays coming out. And they can kind of just, like, sit on the edge of the, the edge of the dead space here and just pummel away at those SCVs, and that's going to be absolutely devastating to deal with. And then at the front here...
I love how they're mirroring it, though, right? Like, this is a literal mirror match where the teammates mirror each other.
There's actually not that much defense right now. Like, I don't know who wins. Okay, now that the Void Rays are out, I'm pretty sure the Protoss team wins here. I think Georgia Tech is in a great position, honestly. I really like their setup.
I like the setup as well. I like that Intuition was at least at the bottom of the ramp, so he was able to catch wind of this. But now Gix is in a lot of because he already lost one of the Cyclones. But here comes a lock-on. I don't know if the Prismatic Alignment was used already, so if GSOC Cube already did use it, then they don't do any extra bonus damage. And Cyclones do pretty well against Stalkers, so he's supposed to repair them for sure.
He's resetting the Cyclone count here. I mean, he needs more shields, right? Like, he should fall back and use those shield batteries that he spent crazy amount of money on. A couple more Stalkers are coming in here, and they're going to catch the Cyclone as it potentially comes out. But
Intuition,
this
you
is
gotta help.
tough.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because it's only GSOC Cube that was really doing that damage. Oh no, what was that? Pluto. I believe it was. That was doing the majority of the damage there, and then it seems like this ramp is being guarded so that Intuition can't even go in. Like, he cannot help his teammate really at all. And he's trying. He's kind of dancing back and forth.
You're not going to walk into 5 shield batteries here. And it looks like, once again, Pluto and G-Sock Cube going to push up this ramp. It looks like Intuition is trying to come help here. He wants that revenge against G-Sock Cube, who beat him down that first very strange game. But so far, doing a good job of zoning them out are G-Sock Cube and Pluto.
Yeah, you're very right about that. Revenge would be pretty sweet here, as Pluto already used the, what was it? The prismatic alignment. He already used it. So this would be the prime time to go in, like right now, before it comes back off a cooldown. I think G-Sock Cube is the only one that has a Void Ray with the prismatic. No, it's on cooldown too. He needs to go now, if anything, or at least go into the base of his teammate to help. But that might open up his own base, so he's being very, very careful about it.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
is hilarious.
This is
Can't
so
let the Void Ray
good.
count get too high, though. You know, like
Right, yeah, well, especially when, look, I mean, Intuition has 4 Immortals out, and I don't really understand why, if we're being honest, because Immortals don't shoot up. It doesn't matter how long and trombone-like those guns are. They cannot tilt them back and shoot them in the air like artillery.
Oh, man. It's the worst band of all time.
And there's just a lot of Stalkers on the ground here as well to help out with this fight and try to serve as some buffer here. The Void Rays are doing their charge up. This could be the big fight. That's a lot of Cyclones. They're getting the lock-ons as best they can, but they're falling quickly. And I think Georgia Tech may have started to break the backs of their opponents here.
I think you might be right. There might have been a bit of a miscommunication there. Intuition backed up. Gix was trying to do it. He's like, yo, let's do it, boys. And the Void Rays were prismatically aligned, but now they're going to go in. Can it be enough here? Intuition has already left the game.
No, GG.
Oh, no. Georgia Tech. Unbelievable.
That's going to bring it to match point here in the playoffs. And keep in mind, Tempo, there is $10,000 of prize money on the line. You want to make it to that top 4. You want to make it to the grand finals. And you want to win that big fat check.
That you do. I had the pleasure of going down and cast that. Oh, yeah, we did. That was really, really cool.
Yeah, up in Toronto. A lot of fun.
Yep. Really awesome event there. Cheesehead Logic, he puts in the work. He's actually doing the observing, so shout out to my boy there.
Yeah, thank you, Cheesehead.
I think I made a mistake when I said we're guaranteed for an ace match because I can't do math. But this is the match point, as you said. And if Georgia Tech wins here, they are going to advance. So let's see how it goes as we, I believe, jump into a 1v1. Is it? Neon Violet Square. So stay tuned and we'll be right back with that one.
Hey, what's up? We are coming back to what could be the last match of the evening on Neon Violet Square. Georgia Tech leads 2-1 against their opponents, UC Berkeley.
Man, who would have thought it would come to this here on Neon Violet Square? Padre versus Theory. It is going to be another PvP. So Theory, their ace player here, but Padre, you know, he's put in a lot of work in the SC2 scene, I believe.
Big Papa himself.
Big Papa himself, yeah. Clarity Gaming, way back in the day, right?
Yeah, Padre once came, I think, one map away from qualifying for Challenger. He was a lot more active back then. He's a good player. You know, he's been around for a long time. He knows the game well. But coming up against a player like Theory, who is kind of in the same boat. He's been like a high-level player for a long time. He did well at one of those Red Bull events back in the day, getting like top 16 or something like that. And, I mean, there's not a lot more to say, so let's hop into the game here. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, it is the Purple Protoss ace for Georgia Tech, Theory.
Gucci. And in the top, it is our blue Protoss player representing University of California, Berkeley. It is Padre. And he needs to win this game or else UC Berkeley is out of here. You know, they definitely don't want to go out here in the playoffs. And you're so close and you can taste it.
So my first impression of Theory, the first time I became aware that there was a player named Theory that existed, was one of those Red Bull events. And I think Theory drew like Desro in the brackets. And
wait, like drew him like a picture?
No, like I think Theory got Desro in the events, and Todd. This was in Todd's early stages of casting when he was still like a little bit awkward but hyper knowledgeable, you know. And he was talking about the matchup, and he's like, "Theory's like a cool guy, man. But I think he's going to lose to Desro." And that was how I first became aware of Theory as a player. But since then, we've seen him a lot in the CSL, and he's done a lot to really impress me here.
Yeah, he's definitely been showing up, right?
Yeah, he likes his blink. Oh, so I was just going to say he likes his blink stalkers. There's one thing I've learned about Theory.
That's his go-to. He loves it. And I mean, in this matchup, Blink Stalkers are a very, very viable opener. You can use it to pressure the front while going for something else if you would like to, but sometimes you can even use it to all in. I've seen it used in that way. You get one Warp Prism as well if you don't even want to get Blink, and you can Blink with Warp Prisms as well if you have the micro for it.
That's a really quick Twilight Council from Padre.
That it is.
You think that's for DTs?
I'm hoping. You know, a man can dream.
If you're going up against a player you think is better than you, why not make some DTs? They're good.
Yeah. I mean, DTs
They're
are great.
invisible.
Yeah, exactly. You can't see them. And if you don't open up Robo, then you're kind of relying on your... Or if you're feeling risky. If you're feeling risky, you can just not even go for a detection opener. But it does look like it is going to be that Stargate opener. And... yeah, Joe, it is the Dark Shrine coming up into the back of the base of Padre. And where is the pylon going to go? I love that Theory scouting around with the Stalkers, trying to find any kind of proxy pylon or proxy tech. Very thorough scouting here, but he ain't going to find nothing. Not yet.
Oh, wait.
Oh, you get the probe.
No, he can't because that probe is a ninja.
He's almost as invisible as the DTs.
Yeah, and he is going to be dropping some ninjas in the back of Theory's base here. I wonder if Theory has any theories about what's about to come at him.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's one theory. If you don't have detection at your base and DTs come to it, you kind of lose the game. So we'll see if he's going to be more conservative with this second Oracle, or if he's going to try to get damage with it. But here comes the first one along with two Adepts. There is a shield battery in the mineral line, so look at that. You can't even kill it unless you have the two Oracles to get that one shot.
It did see the Dark Shrine, though, so he shouldn't die to this.
No, he's going to keep that Oracle at home for sure.
Yeah, he's actually getting a third one out even just to make super sure he doesn't die to it, and I like that. I mean, you can always go across the map, right, and try to brute force down those shield batteries. This is not going to feel good as Padre, what's about to come. He's going to walk up this ramp and just get tagged.
Especially because he went in with both of them at the same time. I don't believe they're going to be able to get away at all. They're trying their best, but that Oracle going to be able to tag it. Oh, okay.
Oh, even getting that one. So he can actually just get some probes here because DTs are kind of good.
How did that DT get in there, man? That guy... he just kind of snuck in there, yo. So you almost thought like Dragon was playing and he had like DT blink.
Padre's making another TT. You know what he's thinking? You know what? You've only got so much energy. I think I might have milked it all out here. There's an observer out now, though, so nothing's going to really get done with this DT. It does get one more probe, but 5 probes for 5 DTs is not a super great trade, if not Padre.
You know, yeah, I think it was a good idea to try and kind of test it to see how far along the Robo would even be. But... oh man, the two Oracles got into the main of Padre and were able to get about 6 kills there. And that's good because, I mean, it was almost impossible to get a single kill because of the shield battery, but when you have 2 of these Oracles out, you can bypass the regeneration of the shield battery because the damage actually one-shots them, so definitely a way to get around that. I like.
Padre's following this up with Blink. He did have the Twilight, so why not get the Blink off the back of this? And I don't know what his next move really is. It's tough to be in this situation when you open with 5 DTs and they just did very little damage to your opponent. You can already see he's 6 workers behind because of that delayed Nexus and the counter damage that was done by the Oracles. And do you think Padre's going to try to go all in here?
Oh man, it's kind of rough, right? Because you get to the stage, you get to a stage in PvP sometimes where it's really, really tough to kill your opponent. But the fact that he gets his mineral line frozen by the stasis ward, in addition to the 3 stalkers, is gonna make it even harder for Padre. So, I think the right choice would be to all in. I don't believe he can go into a macro game unless he feels like he can defend some kind of a push out of Theory, who's definitely well aware of the economic advantage here.
Theory's even going to come and clean up that pylon here. And that's going to end any kind of warp in aggression.
Even takes out the pylon. Yeah, you're right. Well then, you're in a rough spot here, Padre. Wow, going Blink. I mean, honestly, it's a Robo transition, right? Out of Theory, so I don't even believe Blink is going to be the best choice here if the Immortals keep coming out.
Yeah, I think Padre's just kind of like closing his eyes, throwing a dart at the dartboard, and hoping it's the right call because it doesn't seem like there's a great move from here, especially if you maybe aren't feeling super confident against a player like Theory. And he's just going to try to make something happen. I mean, you see Berkeley's life is on the line here.
It is, yeah.
There is
rest on Padre's shoulders.
There's no second bracket. I mean, this is it. Do or die. It's time to show up for Padre. And he's going to try to make something happen. He's getting Immortals out now to help out with whatever attack he's going to throw. But it just looks like his economy is so hurting compared to that of Theory's.
And it's going to continue to get worse in comparison. The 3rd base already done. But I like the DTs that they're still trying to get something done. And whoa, a really, really quick 8 kills right there. 7. Not bad, Padre. 4 disadvantage, but he still doesn't have the 3rd base. His tech path isn't really gonna help him out that much unless he has like godlike micro. Maybe he does.
Yeah, I mean, Padre's always been a pretty good micro player, but it's still going to be a tough nut to crack that of Theory here. He's even like pretty far behind on the upgrades as Padre. A full upgrade and change behind as Padre does have that +2 fired up here. Or rather, Theory has the +2 fired up. Well, Padre's just working on that +1 now.
Yeah, there's really no aspect of the game that he's ahead in. So he needs to continue to try to get damage with the DTs, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Gets 4 additional workers. I love it, though. Padre trying to do what he can to stay in this game. Maybe hoping that Theory will overinvest into economy after losing so many probes, and then just launch a massive attack with +1. But
yeah, I mean, Padre is ahead on the Stalker count. And I mean, Stalkers are a unit that do kind of lose their value as the game goes on. But if you can find a weird moment to strike when, like you said, Theory is just trying as hard as he can to power up his economy, especially if Theory gets like caught out on the map here, Padre's able to blink on top of everything. Maybe his Immortals offer some fire from behind. If he cleans up that army and walks across the map, he might be able to do massive, massive damage against his opponent.
yeah, and this is going to be the tough part here. He doesn't know. I don't think he saw this because he's positioned in between his natural third, and he's moving into his main area. Nope. This third base is going to have to be canceled. I think he needs shield batteries in order to even think about defending it, right? Like, he's down by 20 supply, and he doesn't have the upgrades to contest it or anything here, so... Wait
the army's all joined up here for Theory. It definitely looks like less of an opportune moment for Padre. Even the Archons being warped in here. And this is going to be a tough hold as Padre tries to get everything in position here. I mean, his army is not that far behind in supply, so maybe with good Blink Micro, he can try to make something happen here.
Right. If only he had an observer, Joe. He could snipe the observer, right, of Theory, blink back and let the deeps do the work. But even in that position, a recall from Theory would still keep him on a better economy, but it would still be good. But here we go. The engagement is going, and now it looks like he's gonna put up a fight. Oh no! That's Immortals, but he lifts up one of them. Interesting little engagement here, but he just doesn't have enough.
Yeah, I mean, that flank from Padre was really good with the Archons, but it does look like his army getting steamrolled by that of Theories. And Kwame, I think we may see Georgia Tech going on to the round of 8 here.
Wait, what? Where's the Observer? The D's putting in some work right now. The Observer, he's in Observer mode in the middle of the map. Oh! It's not going to really matter, but you got to give it up to these two DTs. You got to give it up. He was
that was very clean out of, or clean was the wrong word, but that was very scrappy out of Padre.
Yeah.
He's going to walk across the map with these, and he knows he has to do massive counter damage with this. And you know what? He might, because that Observer
just catches him. Oh. Really, really unfortunate for Padre, who lost his third base.
Sitting
Almost was able to get some great damage. Yeah.
Half the supply of his opponent here, and this is just it's a tough spot. You know there's another counterattack on the way. These two Adepts are going to see this third coming down. That triggers Theory once again to move out, and I don't know what moves left you have if you're Padre.
Nah, man, you just you're done. You're checkmated at this point, right? That's when the dude just brings out Candyland and Monopoly pieces on the chessboard and is like, yo, man, I'm gonna play a whole nother game than you. I'm moving on up. And I got Boardwalk and Park Place. Future ladders that starts at the top, son. You know what I'm saying?
Do not collect $200.
Nope.
GG. Georgia Tech takes the series with Theory closing things out against Padre. They're going to move on to the round of 8.
Not bad, yeah. Getting out of that round of 16, really, really, I wouldn't say it was any kind of a guaranteed win there, you know? You definitely had to put up that fight, and I'm hats off to the Georgia Tech, but UC Berkeley put up that fight, made it to the round of 16, of course, and weren't able to pull it out, unfortunately, but, you know, they did put up a good fight.
Yeah, so thank you, of course, to our sponsors, Twitch. Be sure to use the command Discord to hop on into the Discord if you want to join us, look for some practice partners or anything like that. Thank you, Cheesehead, for observing and streaming and making our lives easy tonight. And thanks for casting with me, Kwame.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, I totally had missed it earlier. I don't know. I've probably had a total of like 8 hours of sleep this whole week, so I'm kind of hurting. But you know, I got the passion, baby. You can't take it away from me. So
Well, congrats again to Georgia Tech. We'll let Kwame get some sleep, and be sure to join us next Tuesday, guys, for the next round of CSL.
Take care, everybody.